The Plants vs. Zombies franchise is one of my favorites, and today I want to take a look at the Garden Warfare games and compare their character designs. I will only be focusing on the default variants as 1. BFN doesn't have any variants, and 2. I don't want to go through 100 plus variants. Mind you, these are all going to be just my opinions, so take everything with a grain of salt. And now, without further ado, let's get started. With our first entry, we'll be starting with the tried and true, the most basic Garden Warfare 1 pea shooter. Now, Garden Warfare 1 pea shooter, I don't really have much complaints. This is a phenomenal design. He has the exact shape from the tower defense games. He fits perfectly. This is a great design. It's just a little bit added onto from the games, giving him a bit more of a vibe, but it's just phenomenal. I love the green. I love the hair, both his eyebrows, the back of his head. I love the leaf feet. I love how his hands are pea pods and like his vines that like wrap around him. Those look so cool. The only kind of complaints I have is one, the eyes. I don't know, just the pitch black with the brown ring just looks a little bit off. It's not bad, but it's not great. Also, the yellow tint, I don't know, like, I think it's fine, but I feel like a more solid or deep green could elevate it, although it could, of course, just be kind of like this loading screen menu thing. And then finally, I don't really like the root feet. They just kind of feel weird. Like, you have these leaves as feet already, and I get the roots are kind of like supporting them, but it just feels weird, especially with like how he's moving like that. It's like, bro, okay, weird. Almost feels spider-like, but overall still a phenomenal design. On to Garden Warfare 2 pea shooter, we have a very similar design to the first game. Honestly, there's not too much to say about this version. His pod hands are a bit bigger. His eyes, I think, have been a bit more improved. I don't know if it's just like the fact that they're greenish now, or that's at least how they look in this setting. I think maybe it just fits a bit more. Maybe it's not as out of place. I like how he has the vines around like his neck have a bit of color, giving him kind of like a collar. It just looks cool. I mean, he still has like the root feet, but at least now they're more of like a different color, so they feel, you know, a bit more grounded. Obviously, he has a bit more of his texture is a bit smoother just because, you know, it's a newer game. But overall, it's a very similar and very good design. I would say it's probably a bit of a step up from the previous game. Now onto BFN pea shooter. And man, I gotta say, how did they fumble this, bro? You had one of the best character designs, like, just made, because you took it straight out of the tower defense games, right? You had that design perfected. What is this? Why did you do this to bro? You had the perfect design, and you did this. Like, why? You ruined so much of what made OG pea shooter so good. Like, okay, look. The head shape, it's still similar, but no, like, it needs to be longer. They traded out his leaf eyebrows for actual eyebrows, and, like, the eyes. I don't know, like, I don't know if I like it more or less. They feel weird. Maybe if it was on the old head shape, I'd like it more. I don't know. They ruined his hair. His hair was awesome. Like, the arms are no longer wrapped around him. They feel too thick and stiff. Although, the only, I guess what I can say is they did make him a bit deeper green. I do like that. And they also, you know, got rid of the root feet and just the, like, leaves now, which I do like, but it's like, bro, the sacrifice was not worth it for the head. I can't get over that. They had the perfect head and they really fumbled. This is just one of the, like, top 10 biggest downgrades of all time. I'm not gonna lie. Garden Warfare 1 Chomper is another great design. He looks very similar to how he does in the tower defense games. You know, the purple, the green, everything just looks so great. You can tell right from the get-go that this guy is going to bite you. Like, it is very clear from the design what his purpose is, and it is phenomenal. I love, you know, the purple. It's just such a different color. You don't really see it. When you think of plants, you don't think of purple, so it's great to have this, like, contrasting purple. With the green too, it just looks great. Like the mouth is so well done. It just being like, it's, I don't know, it's just great. I love how like his thorns are a spiky mohawk. The leaves just like as a kind of like a collar kind of thing looks cool. The goop dripping out of his mouth, which hints to like in-game like ability, which I don't want to try to get into the in-game abilities. I want to focus primarily on just the designs. But yeah, it's great. The leaf feet, phenomenal. The only things is once again kind of the root feet. Look kind of weird. A bit better just because they're not like so angular as pea shooters, but yeah, still fine. And then also the like uvula in the back of his mouth just kind of swinging. It's not bad, but it just feels weird to look at. I don't know, but overall, it's not that deep. It is still a phenomenal design. Moving on to Garden Warfare 2 Chomper, we have a near identical design here. Yeah, only real difference I can see is, his mouth is a bit more, like, closed, which, it's fine. It helps hide, like, his uvula in the back of his mouth, that means you don't have to see this dangling thing. But yeah, there's pretty much no real difference between the two. But just besides, a bit more updated graphics. BFN Chomper stays very consistent to its original look. It just looks a bit more clearly cartoony. And honestly, it's a very solid design. I mean, I wish the thorns were a bit more pointy. They look a bit more dull now, kind of bland. I do wish he doesn't look as menacing, but overall it's still a very similar and solid design. I like the deeper look to him, although I kind of miss the shine. But yeah, also, yeah, no, the leaf feet. They got rid of the roots. Overall, very solid. Very similar, and I think they did a very good job of keeping Chomper feeling the same. Next up, we have my beloved Sunflower, and I'm gonna try to stay as unbiased as possible. Sunflower is my favorite class to play in these games, but let's focus on the design here. And Sunflowers is also a phenomenal design. It's so simple but so effective, just like all the others. You look at that and you see a sunflower. It's great. The orange face, and the shape of the face looks so good. The smile, so happy. The eyes look very good because they look more alive than like pea shooters. You have like the freckles. It's just great. I love pretty much everything about Sunflower's design here. Once again, the only thing, root feet kind of suck, and the only other thing is the fact I wish her hand petals were maybe a bit more sunflowery, either like the leaves surrounding the palms were yellow, or if the center of like the palms were like yellowy or orangish possibly. I just feel like that would add a bit more color variety, because it's just like yellowy up top, green on the bottom, which isn't bad, but I feel like just adding that tiny bit of something could also add a bit more life. But overall, great design, and I love how she kind of has like almost wings. Like it's just a phenomenal and adorable design. I absolutely love it. On to Garden Warfare 2 Sunflower, we have, I think, just the identical design. I don't think a single thing has changed. No color, no nothing. And you know what? Honestly, I'm fine with that. Yeah, I think maybe the only thing would be slightly updated graphics. But yeah, there's really nothing to say. I'm pretty sure this is just the exact same model. BFN Sunflower. Not bad. Not very good though either. It's still a very similar like head shape, and in general overall very similar look, but I think they got rid of some of her petals, and they made them so solid and kind of thick. They don't feel like petals. They just feel too thick. Um, she still looks nice though, but I think it's overall kind of like a downgrade. Like they got rid of, they made her like little wings smaller. They got rid of like her depth. I mean, yeah, they made her like a deeper color, which is fine. And the leaf feet good, but like, I do like the hands. They actually kind of took the thing with the hands, but now you can't actually like really see that hand, so it's like, okay, what's the point? But yeah, it's like, it's not bad, but I'd still consider it a bit of a downgrade. Rounding out the Garden Warfare 1 plants, we have Cactus. And the Cactus design is amazing. You look at this, you see a cactus. If I were to draw a cactus, this is pretty much exactly what it would look like. The simplicity behind it is great, and I'd argue it's the most simple out of all of the Warfare 1 plants, just because, I don't know, this is the closest to the actual, like, plant, I'd argue. But yeah, it's just a great design. You know, the arms being up and the different stuff, the green, the red, like, hair being the flowers, and then also just having these little petals on top, just adding a bit more of a flair. You know, the variation of the spikes, you know, growing in and some like coming off, you know, that looks just really good. The little bit of blush, the eyes I think look absolutely amazing because they look like cartoony, and they fit better than, you know, the pitch black of like pea shooters. My only real complaint is the fact that her eyes do look kind of just dead, look kind of bored. But I think that adds a bit of comedic. It's kind of like, it's a 50-50. Like, I like how it adds a comedic effect, but I also feel like, and it does add personality, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe some anger behind there, or maybe some like bit more joy or something else. I don't know. Bored makes me a little less interested, I feel, but I still think it's an amazing design. Garden Warfare 2 Cactus is also just near identical to Garden Warfare 1. Yeah, I think the only difference, the hair looks slightly duller, although that could just be the lighting of the room. And then also her eyes also seem to double down on her being kind of like droopy, kind of like just bored, which honestly I do kind of respect, making that a bit more clear. Still not exactly my preferred just look, but overall it's still great, and yeah, it's just nearly the exact same design. BFN Cactus, another very consistent design, and I'd say I think I like this version of Cactus the most, to be honest. They made her a bit taller, a bit lankier. Yeah, but still very similar shape, keeping like who Cactus is, adding a bit more like detail, you know, to her. I do actually quite like this, you know, giving her like her feet more prominence. You can actually see it, so it's not just like waddling. And then yeah, the hair looks nicer. I like how the petals match more, and I like what they did with the eyes. They make her feel more alive now, and you can also tell she is a she now. Not that that really matters, but it is nice to give her a bit more personality. And while she still looks serious, she doesn't look like dead inside. So overall, I think this is actually, I would argue, Cactus's best design, and I do actually really like it. Now onto the Garden Warfare 1 zombies. We have Foot Soldier, and Foot Soldier is another amazing design. I mean, you look at him, you see a soldier. It is very, very clear. You know, he has like this assault rifle, and like you have, whoa, a boot as the stock, and it's like, oh, he doesn't have a boot. He put his boot on for the stock. It's like, it's just an amazing design. You know, he just has a rocket strapped to his back. Like, you know what, you do you, buddy. This is overall an amazing design. I love the Z for like his belt clasp. It's just great overall. My only real complaint is the fact that his helmet just looks kind of weird to me. I think it's a mix of it being kind of just bland. Yeah, it has the band-aids on it and a bit of like scuff marks, but it just feels a little too bland. And then also it looks really thick. I don't know, it just feels a little out of place. Maybe if they shrunk it down a bit or added some more to it, I'd be a bit better. But overall, he's a great design. He really does just feel like a basic zombie thrown into a military outfit and just like, you know what, go on out. Yeah, so Foot Soldier, great, great, great design. Garden Warfare 2 Soldier is near identical to Garden Warfare 1's, but they fixed my problem with his helmet. They add this little bit of netting, and that just adds so much more life to it. I don't know, like nearly everything else is the same, maybe a bit more coloring differences, but honestly, yeah, this is near exact same, but just that netting adds just so much more for me. They also changed the strap and like leather more like an actual buckle, so it matches a bit more. It feels really good that they're leaning more into like this military bit, I think, and I overall just I love this design. Onto BFN Soldier, we have another very similar design, but obviously more in the BFN style. Now, I really like this because the biggest thing they do is they completely fix all the problems I had with the helmet. Not only do they make it a bit like thinner, they also add even more detailing to it. It just gives it so much more like life, and I really, really do love that. And they over exaggerate like the ZPG a bit more, and they gave him some more equipment. Although they did trade off his Z belt, which sucks. That I loved that belt. Um, but he does have a medal now, which is pretty cool. But overall, yeah, it's a very similar design, but still very good. Next up, we have our big boy engineer. And this, I love this guy's design. He's just a big boy and he has a big booty. This is just such a comedic design. It's arguably the funniest in the game, at least in my opinion. You look at him, oh yeah, he's a construction worker. Like, oh, what his pencil isn't nailed to his hard hat. It just looks so great. Like, you can't tell what exactly he might do. Probably build stuff, as engineers do in every single game that has an engineer class. But, you get the gist. But it's like, yeah, he looks great. I love, like, the mustache, like, handle part. Like, this is just a wonderful design. He has such a unique design. It feels great. I love, the booty. The booty is great. My only real complaint, honestly, is just his gun. His gun just looks kind of weird. It's a concrete launcher, and yet I would not assume that thing shot concrete out of it. But that's just me. But yeah, overall, I love this guy's design. It is a great design. Garden Warfare 2's engineer is near identical, but they committed a sin by making this man shave. How dare they? This man looked amazing. Why did you have to do this to bro? He looks so sad, but not really. But yeah, I miss that. That mustache was great. That gave him so much more character. Overall, near the exact same design. Big booty, big boy. His gun's still weird, although they added a bit more like detailing to it, I think. But overall, yeah, similar, but I would argue probably slightly worse, just because they got rid of bro's mustache, and otherwise it's no other like improvements upon him. BFN engineer. Now this is peak, right? They take what made Garden Warfare 1 and 2 and they up it, right? They make him even bigger, even like goofier. They gave him back his stash. That's right. W's in the chat. Yeah, they gave him a big old booty still. It's great. Yeah, it's just everything. And they made the gun make a bit more sense. It's still kind of the same shape, but at least now it's actually like hooked up to like the concrete. So it's like it makes more sense that it's not just coming from like a clip. It really works. And okay, I'm gonna do something a little different here because and I don't want to do this with anyone else, but Engineer does in fact have a twerk emote. And I mean, like, they really leaned into it with Engineer, and I love this design. I think this is some actual like peak character design right here. Next up, we have my favorite zombie scientist, and on top of being my favorite zombie, he also has a great design. Looking at him, you can very clearly tell he's a scientist, especially with the hair. The goggles look great, and how they make his eyes look so big. He looks almost like adorable. Like, I don't know, it's just so well done. Just looking at him, it's a great design. I really don't have any complaints. Yeah, he looks great. It's very effective, very simple, and I love it. Garden Warfare 2 Scientist is also another character that is pretty much identical to the first game. Only difference is his gun looks just to be a little bit thicker and his goggles are more gray instead of white. So, yeah, I don't know. There's not really a difference here, so there's not really much to talk about. Still good, though. BFN Scientist. This is another peak character design. They took everything that made him good in Garden Warfare 1 and 2, and they amplified it, right? Okay, biggest thing, the hair. Oh my gosh, making the hair that long, just over exaggerating it, just looks so good. Making the goggles like even more magnified, just make him look even goofier is great. The backpack being so big, like it's almost the same size as him. It's just so good, and his gun feels more like put together and sciencey. It's just I absolutely love this version of Scientist. It is so well done. It just brings together all the things that made him unique and just amplified it, and I love it. And finishing up the Garden Warfare Zombies and Garden Warfare 1 as a whole, we have All-Star. All-Star is another pretty good design. He's arguably my least favorite out of Garden Warfare 1, but he's still a very solid design. I love the red. It's just, you tell like the proportions, like dude, big bulky shoulders. You're going to tell this guy's going to be kind of tanky. I absolutely love his gun. Ooh, that thing looks powerful. Bro feels like a powerhouse. Uh, it's just so good, honestly. Like the equipment, you look at him, you see a football player, and like I love the like stars, the emblems, the logos. He feels like he is all in for like Team Zombies. It is great. My only complaint is just how like skinny he is, cause like he has such a big, bulky like looking upper body, and then he has these tiny arms, and like maybe it could be comedic, but to me it just feels a little too weird. If he was just a bit bulkier, I feel like it would fit him a bit more to feel even tankier. But that's just me. Overall, a very solid design. Garden Warfare 2 All-Star is another character who is very similar to the first game. His shoulder pad's a bit different though. His legs are now exposed. They used to have like red socks or like leggings on them. Now they're gone. Oh no, I missed the red. I think it added a bit more. He looks kind of weird without it. They added a bit more beef to his gun. I feel like it's a bit like bigger. Um, Honestly, it's kind of hard here to like. It's very similar, but still has a couple of differences. So it's kind of hard to tell what is better, what works better. But yeah, overall, very similar design, still pretty good. Not sure if I like it more or less though, to be honest. BFN All Star. Um, yeah, bit of a downgrade. Like they still kept him really small. They gave him back his socks though. I do like that. But like they got rid of the zombie stars on the side of his head, and like his gun, I don't know, it feels big and bulky, but also looking at this, it doesn't feel like it would work super great. I don't know, the other one felt like, yeah, that thing is going to hit like a truck. Um yeah, not bad, but they made him just feel like smaller and even weaker, honestly, just with the head. I don't know if it's the proportions or the helmet or what it is. It just feels off. Uh, yeah, not a great design. On to our first new character. We have the Garden Warfare 2 Citron, and Citron looks awesome. I'm not gonna lie. I love like his armor being, being a peel, but also being like futuristic with the lines. He looks great. He just looks so cool with the sunglasses. Like kind of like the goatee, kind of. Just the eyebrows. Also the mohawk, kind of like Chomper. This laser gun. Everything just about him just looks so cool. The only like complaint I might say is I feel like they put a little too much like white in him. I feel like if they like deepened the orange a bit more and made him a little less like white, it'd feel better in my opinion. But overall, still a phenomenal design. I don't think I would really change this at all. BFN Citron. All right, I don't mind this too much. I like the his armor, right? It feels a bit more like an actual orange peel, right? The other one felt a bit too much like armor. It was kind of like it felt orange themed, but not like his orange peel. This feels very orange peeled. That being said, they also made him a bit more orange, which I do like. That being said, bro lost his coolness factor. Like they tried to keep it, but by like removing his sunglasses, big thing. The sunglasses added a lot, and then also his mohawk is a bit like messier now. And then his laser gun. Well, it looks good and it looks a lot more plant-like, which I do like. He does kind of lose his futuristic look a bit too much with it becoming so much of a plant. So I don't know. It's like it's alright, not bad. It has like one improvement, but overall kind of a downgrade, not super great. On to Rose, we have another great design. Looking at her, you can very clearly tell she is a Rose. I love, the shape of her head, the shape of her whole body, to be honest. I like how her hands are roses. I like how, she just looks very elegant. The cape looks cool, although it feels a bit weird with like how low it is almost, but honestly, still looks absolutely amazing. How she's like a hovering character too is also very unique, and the wand being, just kind of like a twig and then this mystical like aura coming out. She just has like the first truly like feminine plant, which you know what, yeah, girl power, woo. But yeah, overall Rose is a great design. BFN Rose, I really like it, but something feels off for me. I don't know what exactly it is. Because I like her face, right? The head shape, I don't know if I like it more or less, about the same, to be honest. But like her body, like the leaves making up like a collar, and then like the leaves making like a shoulder area. The elegance, and like the leaves making kind of like a skirt. I love that. That looks so good, and I like the petal being like this cape, right? Because the rose petal, it matches her. It feels more like, oh yeah, that's an actual rose, and not like this kind of robe that's you know uh, something foreign, right? It feels more her. But then again, we also have these weird hand things. I do not like. I like the rose, but I don't know. Something feels off here. I don't know what exactly it is. I like her. I really do like her here, but I don't know. Something feels off, and I feel like that just goes for Rose in general. But I don't know. I still think it's a great design though. To Korn, we have another character who just, fits their name just spot on. He looks a lot different than how he does in the tower defense games, but I do think it makes sense, given the proportions of Korn in real life and the proportions of like a lot of the characters in these games. So overall, I think it works wonderfully. I love how he's visibly angry. He has like motivation, like he's going out there to fight. It's wonderful. Overall, like a great design. Only real complaint is that, his stem is kind of like poking out. It feels kind of weird, just being down there. And then also like this back of head, like kind of hair mullet thing. I don't know what they were trying to do exactly with that. But overall, yeah, great design. I'm glad they got rid of the root feet, but I don't honestly know. Like if the cost is him having a interesting, stem, honestly, I might go back to the root. But honestly, yeah, great design. BFN Corn. Very similar to Garden Warfare 2 Corn, but a bit more cartoony. But I think his proportions are off a bit. I think his head and like his like hands maybe are just like a bit bigger now. So now he looks kind of like small or childish almost. I don't know. It's just I don't know if it's like the length of his body or something, but something feels off here. It's still a very good design. It's nearly identical. Although they did, he no longer has a stem in a peculiar spot, which, I'll give him that. But overall, very similar, not too much to say. Wrapping up Garden Warfare 2's plants, we have Torchwood. And even though Torchwood doesn't have a variant in any other game, I still want to bring him up. Yeah, and Torchwood, yeah, he is, another character that is directly from the tower defense games, and he looks wonderful. He does look a bit different, but he fits the vibe so well of what he does in this game. Yeah, the big eyes, menacing. He is thick. He is a very big character. You can tell even comparing him to how all the other characters have been positioned in this room. You can tell he is big, and he feels beefy. He feels strong. He matches his design and his gameplay elements very, very well. And I love the detailing on him. I love the vines. I love the leaves. I love the mushrooms. They make him feel more alive, more like an actual tree, almost like he just like came up out of the ground. I really have no complaints against him. This is a great design. Now onto our first new Garden Warfare 2 zombie. We have Imp. And Imp is a very, very simple design, similar to Engineer, kind of round, just very effective, honestly. I don't have too much to say both good or bad. I like his size, in game he's a very tiny character. It's very unique. His first like little itty bitty character. The dual wielding guns, they look cute. He just looks and feels like kind of childish. I like how he's happy though. He's like the first like actually kind of like happy looking zombie, but that's also because he's also probably really stupid, so he probably doesn't know what's going on. But overall, I think he looks great. The equipment he has, being kind of futuristic and techy while still being like dumb looking is kind of funny. But yeah, I don't really have any complaint against Imp. But yeah, also his mech. The mech looks cool. I like that mech. It looks kind of like a Big Daddy from BioShock, to be honest. Which I don't think I ever realized up until I was actually making this video. But yeah, it's a very interesting design to have this like the big bulky mechanical mech. I really do like it. BFN Imp. I mean, pretty much near the exact same design. I think he's not quite as round, but I mean, like, yeah, his outfit's the same, gun is the same. Like, it's pretty much the same. I don't really have much to say. His face looks a bit off, but I think the other imp also his face also looked a bit off. So honestly, don't really have too much to say about imp. The mech, on the other hand, I do like this kind of like more makeshift mech, and like I like the laser, and it looks like cool visually, but the powerhouse of like the big daddy looking mech it felt better. This thing feels like it's gonna fall apart, which matches imp, but I don't know. I just like the powerhouse of the other mech a bit more. Garden Warfare 2 Super Brains, great design. You look at him, you can be like, oh yeah, superhero, Superman look. He has the hair, he has the chiseled face, which is really funny. I like in like the square on his chin, on his already squared like jaw, is peak. Yeah, the purple outfit, once again, like how Chomper, you don't really see purple too much, so it's like a nice standout with the contrasting yellow. Just looks really good. It's a very appealing look. My only issue with this is like his eyes, to be honest. I think it's the fact that they're just so, pinpoint. I think if they were just a bit wider like the other characters, he would feel, I don't know, not so. I don't know. It's just something about the eyes that throw me off. I don't know if it's just weird or if he. I don't know. Maybe it's also the mask, or maybe it's a mix of both. Just like how they work together. I think maybe it just throws me off a little bit. But overall, phenomenal character design. BFN Super Brains is great. It's still very similar to Garden Warfare 2, but I like a couple things. The hair, bit different. I do like it a bit more. Although I kind of like the black of Garden Warfare 2 a tiny bit more. But like the body, the bulk, big, strong is great. Keeping the color scheme overall great. But the brain in the middle of his chest now making an S and a B. Oh my gosh, that is so good. Because it still looks like a brain, but it's an S and a B now. Like it's like a logo. Oh, it's so good. They also fixed his eyes for me. Maybe it's because of the pupils, or maybe the mask is a bit different now. I don't know, but yeah, this one works more for me, and I think like his proportions are even more insane, which is great. Overall, yeah, I love this design. Garden Warfare 2 Pirate is in fact a pirate. Yeah, he's one of the most like on the nose characters. It's insane. But yeah, he looks great. There's not too much to say, but yeah, he fits the pirate look great. He has drip though. Yeah, the coat, the pants, his gun being this cannon like with gold trim. Like bro has in fact been plundering. Bro is wealthy. You can tell from man's outfit. It's great. Yeah, the peg leg, the hook, the hat with an eye patch on it, the beard, the mustache, just the feather, kind of like for a parrot or something. It's just a great design. Simple yet incredibly effective. BFN Pirate. Now, this might be the closest like design to any of the other games. Like holy crap. Like they changed the gun texture a little bit, but dude, this is like just the straight up thing, just styled a tiny bit different. I think the only difference is that the eye patch doesn't have like an X in it or something. Like literally, this is pretty much the exact same character. I don't know what to say. Like, yeah, still good, I guess. Wrapping up Garden Warfare 2 Zombies as well as its characters, we have Hovergoat, who, you know, probably isn't even an actual zombie. He's just on the team just cuz, bro. He's just that cool, right? He's like Torchwood, who, you know, is just locked into Garden Warfare 2. But you know what? I think bro just has so much aura they couldn't take him out. Like, look at this guy. You know, he's from the future. He got hoverboard. He got drip. He's just like aura farming, bro. Like, look, he got the sunglasses, mohawk, the chewing on weed, just like this dope laser. Like, bro does not care. He's on Team Zombies because he wants to be. He's here just cuz, and that's respect. I ain't gonna lie. This is a phenomenal design. I absolutely love it. This is just peak right here. Now on to our first BFN plant. We have Nightcap. And I love Nightcap's design. I'm surprised it took them, you know, 3 games to make a mushroom character when the tower defense games have had, you know, them in both games. But hey, I don't care. She's just so well designed. She's the first small plant. This ninja vibe. It's great. It's just so good because you look at that, you see a mushroom, but then you also see like a ninja. And she's just so like cute and adorable too. Like, she's childlike. It's just a wonderful design. Like, I feel like you could hug Nightcap. Like, she's just so like smooth and small and cute and like squishy looking. It's just a wonderful design. And like, I think it also helps that, you know, she's a character made for BFN, so her design is made for BFN style, right? So they were able to really do a great job with her, and yeah, it's just so good. Onto BFN Snapdragon. He's a very good design. I remember way back in the day when I was playing Garden Warfare 1, I was like, you know, what if they added a Snapdragon character? And it took them 2 more games, but hey, they did it. And overall, I like his design, although I think he's a bit too derpy, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know, something about his eyes or like his mouth. It's just something doesn't fit well. And also, he's bald, bro. I don't know. I don't know if it's like because of the horns he feels bald because there's nothing in between it. I don't know. Maybe he could use like a mohawk or like a mullet or something. I think that would be awesome. I think that would add like a bit more. But yeah, besides that, he looks great, dude. Like, you can tell the dragon, like the mouth, the snout, and then you have like the wings and the tail and like the orange accents. It's just so good. Like this, like the coloring, a lot of the design is great. It's just like his face looks so derpy. I don't know. It just feels out of character, especially when his tower defense design feels so like serious. Like, I don't know, but yeah, this is a very solid design. Next up, we have Acorn and Oak. Let me start with Acorn. I love Acorn, bro. He's another small, itty-bitty guy, but yeah, he's so simple, and he's not based off of anyone from the tower defense. It's just so well done, because he's literally just an acorn, but they do it so well, and like the little leaves look great. But I love how his gun is like a twig he snapped off of. That is, I think that has to be like the best weapon design in any of the games. I'm not gonna lie. It fits so well. It's like I know all of these are attached to like the plants, but it's so different because it feels so organic. It's so well done, and he also feels like childish. It's just great. It's a really wonderful design. And then of course we have Oak, and Oak, yeah, I'm not gonna compare him to Torchwood, right? But dude is also big. Bro is big. He is thick. He feels very much like a tree. I like, you know, he has a log for like his cannon. That works. I love the like inclusion of making them feel more really plant like. That's something I really have to give BFN credit for. Yeah, and he has this little arm, even though I don't think it's like an actual arm. I think it's more of just like a twig. It's great, and he's so serious. It feels great having this like contrast between the two, and yeah, it's just done so well. Only kind of complaint I have on Oak is the fact that he has a unfortunate twig in a interesting spot. I mean, if it's fine because if it was like any lower, it'd definitely be a bit more sus. But overall, yeah, Both Oak and Acorn are, I think, really solid designs. And wrapping up the BFN plants and the plants in general, we have Wildflower. This guy has a pretty good design. Not great, but not bad by any means. I love his smile. He looks so, like, evil almost for, like, just being a basic, like, character that you can just see around the map. I don't know, he feels so, like, evil. It's like he's gonna, like, really get into the cause. But yeah, I do like that about him. Yeah, I like how he's, very weed themed, even though weeds are kind of not like great for plants, but I do find that interesting. But yeah, he has like the spiky leaf feet. That's great. The overall body is great. The head is cool because like it's blooming. He's not fully like developed, which is cool. Goes into, but he does have his own fair share of problems. His eyes, man, no, I don't like him trying to have, like pitch black eyes with a little bit of blue. No. No, just make them like straight pitch black. I think that would work better or something. Or make them like seeds. I don't know. And then also his like petal hands. Those are his weapons, but it's I don't know, just they're just petals with like holes in them. I don't know. They don't feel weapony, and they also just kind of look a little weird. I don't know what exactly you would change it to, but I don't know. It just feels a bit off to me. But overall, pretty good design. On to our first new BFN zombie, we have 80s action hero. And yeah, I do quite like it. Yeah, I like his muscles. Wish they could have given that to All Star, but I digress. But yeah, like he fits that theme well. The hair, the bandana, the aviators. I love the 80s like boom box like bow. That's a really cool like tying in like his theme very well to like his weapon. I think it's just like so over the top for no reason. It's just really funny. I think it's a solid design. Next up, we have Electric Slide, and honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of her design. I think it's alright. Like, I like certain aspects. I love her hair. I like the visor. I like the lightning bolts and, like, the electricity and the light bulbs. I think that all fits, like, it very well. But I feel like they almost kind of didn't know what to do with Electric Slide. It's like, electric, let's just slap lightning bolts on it. Like, I don't know. It just feels a bit weird, bit bland almost. Her outfit just feels kind of like basic. It just feels like clothes almost. And 80s also kind of had that, not gonna lie. But yeah, I do like the rollerblades and stuff. Like, it's not bad, but it's just like, Although she's our first feminine zombie, which is cool. But yeah, kind of sucks that, you have first feminine zombie and her outfit's just kind of like mid. I don't know. Up next, we have Space Cadet, who is another character whose name fits their design very well. As you can tell, she's wearing a spacesuit and she's in like some sort of space capsule pod kind of thing. Overall, very solid design. I don't really have any complaints. I like her hair and how it's kind of like sticking out the back. It also has kind of like a 50s vibe to it, which I do like. If you know me, I love like the 50s style. But yeah, overall, I like her design. I like how she's happy. She's like one of the few happy looking zombies. Everyone just looks so depressed. That's what I guess imp. But yeah. Yeah, overall I like it. Very solid. I really like her weapon, which is this robotic floating skull with a gun attached to it. Like, you know what? Yeah. So yeah, overall very solid design. No real complaints. I like it. Next up we have Wizard, and yeah, he's a wizard, all right. Yeah, overall very solid design. I mean, it's just very simple. You look at that, you see a wizard. There's nothing too special about this. I like, the hat. The proportions are very good. Everything being kind of lanky is cool. I like the blue and the yellow and the stars. It gives them a mystical kind of vibe, but also it's like makeshift, which is kind of like almost cute. I like his staff a lot. The proportions once again good, and then I like how his orb is a bowling ball, like a mystical bowling ball. I really like that. What I don't like is that he has a shoe. Like, a sneaker. Come on, you couldn't give him like a boot or like something that has like a curl at the front. I don't know, make it goofy a bit. I feel like a sneaker almost takes you out a little bit. Like the bowling ball's comedic, but the sneaker is just, I feel like, unnecessary. But yeah, overall solid design. I really like, his hair and everything. He just overall looks solid, but he's not anything great. And finally, wrapping up the BFN zombies, BFN as a whole, and the entire list, we have TV Head. Now, I really like TV Head primarily because he is just the basic default brown coat zombie, which I absolutely love, with a TV strapped on his head. It's nice to have, like, just the most generic zombie kind of as a playable character, but let's not, focus on that quite as much. Overall, solid design. Yeah, basic guy, just slap a TV on him, right? Give him a VCR in his hand, and throw the wire on. And it's nice because like you can see this is wire wrapped around his arm, but you see that the wire was actually part of the TV that got ripped off or something. Overall, it's a very cool design that's all wrapped together. My only complaint is the actual like the screen. I'm not the biggest fan of like the glowing it all kind of blue. I feel like if they just had like his head and everything else was like black, so it looked like his head was like in the screen, like as if you were watching it, I think that'd be a bit cooler than it looking more like his head is just stuck in a TV. But overall, very solid design. Now that we've seen all the designs, I want to talk about the best one for each character. For Pea Shooter, I think the best design is Garden Warfare 2, as it's the near perfect design from Garden Warfare, but just a little bit more added on, which pushes it over. Chomper, also Garden Warfare 2, very similar thing. The Garden Warfare 1 design is great, and they changed this a little bit, making his mouth a bit smaller and adding a bit more length to the spikes, which I absolutely love, making it just a bit more of a better design. For Sunflower, I'm going to say it's a tie between Garden Warfare 1 and 2, just because it's a near identical design. For Cactus, I'm going to say it's BFN, mainly just because it's overall the same, but I like the bit more of a personality that they have, with the eyes and like the eyelashes, the eyebrows. Overall, I like the overall design, a bit more of BFN just for the life it adds. For Foot Soldier, I'm going to say BFN. Now, I love all three Foot Soldier skins. I just think that BFN, just mainly because of the helmet and the equipment that they have. He feels a bit more like a soldier, and having all the extra flair on him just gives him a bit more life. For Engineer, I'm also going to say BFN. I love the exaggerated look, right? They took him being a kind of plump boy and added an even more plump to him, making, exaggerating his features, which I think is the best thing they do. And I also love the equipment being added and like all flowing together a lot better. For Scientist, I'm also going to say BFN. Similar reason to Engineer. I love the exaggerated hair, right? They're taking these things that made them kind of unique and exaggerating them, with the goggles, the hair, his equipment being just so big and bulky. I absolutely love it. It's just wonderful design. For All-Star, I'm actually going to go with just straight up Garden Warfare 1. The first design, they nailed it on the head. It looked great. I loved pretty much everything about it. The only reason I'd say going for 1 over 2 is because they removed the red socks. And I think just that bit more of color just made him stand out just a little bit more, at least for me. For Citron, I'm going to say Garden Warfare 2 just because he looks really cool in Garden Warfare 2, and they kind of just removed most of that from BFN. For Rose, I'm going to say Garden Warfare 2 as well. I really, really like both, though. I'm not going to lie. I really like both. I just think Rose's design in Garden Warfare 2 is a bit more appealing. I think if there was like a blend of the two, it would be the best design. Like if Rose's body from BFN, but with like the head and like the cloak from Garden Warfare 2, I think that would be a perfect design. Anyway, for Korn, Garden Warfare 2, once again, I like him being more aggressive, more mean, more serious, and also his proportions are a bit better. They feel more natural. He looks too much like a kid almost in BFN. Imp is also going to be Garden Warfare 2. Main thing is just the face. The BFN and Garden Warfare 2 designs are very, very similar in their outfits, but the face is the big difference. But also the mech. I do like the Garden Warfare 2 mech a bit more. I like it being more futuristic, really, science-y, looking really good, like a Big Daddy from Bioshock. I really like that. Not that I dislike BFN Imp, it's just that Garden Warfare 2 Imp just takes the cake. For Super Brains, it's going to go to BFN. I just his proportions are amazing. Just this absolutely massive top half, and then these tiny little legs. It's just a wonderful design, and they really make him more superhero-y. And then the SB logo is just so great. I absolutely love that. And then finally, for Pirate, I'm just going to say it's a tie. These two are near identical, very similar to how Sunflower is. It's pretty much the exact same design, just slightly different styles. So I don't think it's really fair to choose between it just because it's stylized. Now I want to talk about each game's overall design. Garden Warfare 1 had great designs, with them all fitting how the tower defense games look and transferring that look very well into a 3D look. And then there's a reason that these games had very similar designs between all three. They did a great job with these original designs. They're some of the best character designs I have ever seen. Garden Warfare 2 was incredibly consistent and had an overall great character design. They took the designs from the first game and added just a little bit more on the core for each class, and then they also added these four new characters each, and they all fit the in-world design very, very well. And nothing felt out of place, and they just did an overall phenomenal design with them. And finally, we have BFN, which was incredibly mixed. The highs of BFN, I would argue, are some of the best of this series, but its lows are easily the worst. I believe this is the biggest reason because of changing the art style, changing the graphics. They made it a bit more cartoony, almost more kid-friendly, and while that's not bad, it did tamper a bit with how these characters look, and it just worked really well for some characters, and it just did not work at all for some of them. But for all of the new characters that introduced, I do think it worked very, very well. I don't think it would be fair to choose which game has the best design, as it's not fair that each game has a different number of characters, and that Garden Warfare 2 has some near identical looks to the Garden Warfare 1 counterparts. This series, overall, is filled with phenomenal character design and some of the best I have ever seen, and that is what I believe matters most. And now I want to ask, which versions of these characters are your favorites? Do you have a game that has your overall favorite design? Please let me know in the comments, and with that, I would like to thank you for watching my video.